Hi everyone. Join me for a little bit of brainstorming about child labor laws. Okay, so we're not allowed to employ children in certain dangerous areas. So let's have a look. So one thing is we have minimum ages. You have to be 16 and 17 for certain jobs. You have to be 18 for other jobs. And there's a lot of things that you're not allowed to be employed with if you're underage because they can be dangerous according to these laws. Here's some I have blue highlighted. These are the times that kids cannot work, such as outside of school hours, no more than 3 hours a day. Notice school hours. I'm going to bring up a point about that later, but school hours is mentioned in here a lot. So here are a few jobs that you have to be at least 16 years of age to perform or apply for. Kennel assistant. Now these jobs are all dealing with dogs. A pet sitter, a pet store associate, an animal caretaker, a cat cafe assistant, a farmhand, a vet assistant, animal trainer, a receptionist, a wildlife rehab. These are dealing with dogs mostly. Animal therapist. This is going to be dogs and cats. Even a zoo associate, a dog walker. If you're officially employed dealing with dogs, even talking about dogs as a pet blogger, animal rights canvasser, a pet photographer, you're supposed to be at least 16 years of age to deal with these dogs. For many reasons, many of the reasons are safety. Many of the reasons are people don't have enough experience to deal with those dogs when they're 16. They need to be at least 16. Now, another point that's interesting here is they say that the Department of Labor is cracking down on child labor violations. Now, these are violations like kids getting to use meat slicers and they're not old enough, things like that. This isn't kids being put around dogs and getting injured. This is other stuff. I'll put this down in the description. But some of these child labor violations are really bad. They put kids in danger. And some of them are very arguably not bad because they're training kids to do actual useful stuff. But there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on. There's a lot of kids that shouldn't be forced into forced labor. So they are admitting this. They do realize this is a problem. Okay, so with all this child labor, how come we allow kids to have dangerous jobs of promoting dog culture? We constantly use kids to promote dog culture. This video right here is a perfect example. They put this little baby right around this dog, allow the dog to chew on the little baby's clothes, allow the dog to even chew up these little things right here, these little toys. And as a little aside point here, certain toys can't be sold to kids if they have a hazard of being choked on. When a dog chews up those toys, it creates a choking hazard. But this little kid is being employed as a dog promoter. Everywhere this kid goes, the parents keep putting the kid with the dog. Biting the little kid's book. How is that helping? They're using this kid to promote dogs. The kid didn't decide it wants a dog. The kid wants to play with its toys, and the dog is just there. And now another side point I want to tell you about this. Have you ever heard the story about the horror of the ape and child experiment? I'll put the link in the description. They try to raise a little kid with this chimpanzee, and basically what happens is the little kid becomes stupid. I highlighted the script right here where it says language. Ultimately, the language development, the mental development of the little kid that they raised next to this chimp was stunted. And it's a horrible story. There was a couple other ones like this. But raising your kid next to a four-legged fanged predator is just going to stunt your kid's growth. And these nasty, dirty scientists have already done it. And we're doing it every day. We're doing it every day, putting kids next to dogs when they should be next to their parents. So this little video that I'm showing you right here, this is like that ape experiment. This kid is having its mentality stunted by being put around this dog all the time. The mom or dad should be sitting right there reading the book with the kid, reading those words, not letting the dog chew that book into choke hazard size pieces. Okay, so why would I have an issue with child labor laws that protect children, yet we don't protect children when it comes to dogs? It's like dogs can bypass the law. Why would I have a problem with that? Well, all you got to do is look up one of these studies, the epidemiology of dog bite injuries. And what do we know about dog bite injuries? As our society uses kids to promote dogs, injuries are more prevalent among school-age children. 1/2 of all children aged 12 and younger have been bitten by a dog, resulting from resulting from activities that children frequently engage in. These injuries to kids often happen at the home, a dog living in the home. We put these kids in their house with the dog and employ the kid to promote dog culture. The kid didn't ask for a dog. The kid was born into a house of dog nutters and is now forced to promote dog culture and also forced to be put at a risk. The extent of these injuries from dog bites constitutes a major health problem. Young children, especially, are vulnerable being bitten by a dog. So remember, I mentioned before, outside of school hours, so many of these kids are school-age children. So their school, the stress that they feel in school is being raised by dogs because school-age kids are one of the ones that are the large receivers of dog attacks and bites. So labor laws protect kids from having their school time compromised. What about when it comes to dogs? Why do dogs get away with it? And why do we have so many dogs at people's school? Kids are getting bitten by dogs at school and on school buses, near school grounds, on their way to school. So dogs mess with kids when they're trying to go to school. How come we're not protecting kids from dogs, but we will protect kids when it comes to labor laws? Why are we employing kids to do this type of stuff? Pushing dog culture. It's not good for them. The monkey experiment proves this. The fact that so many kids are killed by dogs proves this. So why are we doing this? It doesn't seem like equal protection under the law to me. Why do we have videos like this? Dogs, animals for kids. Dogs are a death factor for kids. So this video right here, the one I'm pointing at, they use children in their video to show how to train a dog. You're putting those kids at risk. You wouldn't let a kid run a meat grinder or a forklift or a meat slicer, but you'll put your kid around a dangerous dog that itself is a meat slicer. So this has been just a quick look at how, in my opinion, kids do not receive the proper protection that they should receive when it comes to dog culture. Yet so many other places in society try to provide this protection. The links of all this stuff will be in the description. And you probably noticed I didn't even talk about all the nastiness of dog feces and the sickness that comes from dog saliva and everything else that we put these kids around. Because honestly, I don't think we should have to. The fact that these dogs kill so many kids, the fact that these parents put aside their parenting of their children to spoil dogs. And if you go look at that ape experiment that I talked about, the fact that these kids are growing up basically having their intelligence taken away from them so that they can have parents with dogs, it's sick and it's not fair protection for these kids. And we already have so many laws that protect kids. Why do dogs get away with it? So have a look at this little video right here and then notice how our adults act with kids these days. It almost is like the same thing. It's like some kind of gruesome, sick experiment so these parents can look good. And the scientists that were involved in this, that's basically what they wanted to do. They wanted to look good. Just look at any type of equipment to be operated in a job. You got to be 18 years old to run a chainsaw. Chainsaws can cause amputations, bleeding to death, loss of life and limb. So can a dog. So I don't think we should be employing these kids to push dog culture. I think kids are not getting fair protection under the law. What do you guys think? Looking forward to your comments.